So Marcus, Kenny wanted a more physical practice from an offensive perspective. Are you happy with that element today?
Yeah. I think as soon as you get an opportunity to get on the pads, full pads, that's what you're asking for. There's a special combination this far into practice where you want guys this far into training camp where you get into day 6, day 7, day 8, day 9, where now you got to really be able to challenge yourselves. Because earlier on you're not ready for it. Later on you got to start being careful. And I think right now is when we got to really be physical, really ask a lot of our guys and demand and find out where we're at in that regard.
Where are you at with the quarterback situation? Obviously, a couple years ago you came up with you weren't sure who the starter was going to be. Similar situation maybe this year from your perspective, or not?
Yeah, we did this a couple years ago. We've done this a couple times in our careers. It happens where you're going into competition middle of camp and you're still pushing, trying to find ownership, trying to find consistency, trying to find efficiency, trying to find guys who are right now you're looking at with all the situations, you're just short of most situations that are going to come up that you've taught. Today was another infant stage with something new, and so you're layering these opportunities for the quarterbacks to learn. You're not going to be there right now, but now you've got the next 16 days, 2 weeks after Saturday, and you're going to be ready to start honing in on seeing what guy right now can have the consistency and ownership to move the ball and play well. We're asking a lot of them with what they're doing. The demand is definitely high with what we do on offense, and so they know that. They know we're getting close to where it's got to be. Establishing who that guy's going to take that first snap. And so I'm trying to get in a little bit. We're trying to pry him and find out, where that emotional intelligence is at and durability and how guys can handle pressure. And I've been pleased with their ability to come out and work and respond. You got days where you got some things you like, some things you don't, and their ability to respond is a big piece.
And Coach, you talked about obviously the receiver room, what it's done, but a guy like Uriah, who just seems to be taking more and more steps into the what have you seen from him so far?
Yeah, Uriah's a guy that, again, 2 years ago hadn't played wide receiver, right? And has grown up physically, has grown up mentally, has grown up emotionally for the position. And I think that's all we can ask in regards to his continued process of getting better each day. He's put on the right mental capacity and the right physical capacity to play the position after the summer. He's flashing in some one-on-one situations. And I think a guy that we're going to actually, be excited about here in the near future.
Reed Harris made some big plays today. What have you seen from him this fall?
Yeah, we've seen Reed in spring for the first time. Obviously, a guy that has been near and dear to us in our attack as far as putting guys on the edge who can win the one-on-ones. He's a guy right now who can definitely be trusted. Trusted in a situation when it's called in a one-on-one situation. Trusted to be a guy who can be a complement player as well, which I think is a big piece. When you go out and recruit and sign, guys at that echelon, and you know what you're going after, whether it's the NFL and it's a first-round guy, or it's in college now with the way we're doing free agency and going out and getting a guy who's a premier prospect. To find a guy who can understand that his role is to be asked to doing the one-on-one and be a guy who's in the limelight a lot and be an attack point of attack a lot and still be a complement player says a lot about him.
You weren't necessarily a short team wide receiver-wise last year, but obviously this year that the length is on a much better level. Does that just really open the playbook that much more?
Yeah, anytime you can find guys who have that skill set and that critical positional attributes that are all tall, long, and fast, you've got some pretty nice skills to work with. Whether it be just overall catch radius, whether it be the ability to play and be physical in one-on-ones, whether it be in run blocking, whether it be in the red zone, which is something we've got to make sure that we're honed in on. Those bodies and their durability over time, let alone one-on-one situations, something that you get really excited about.
Marcus, Kenny was talking about the depth, just the depth of this team over the last 3 years now, 4 years. Do you feel like you've got that on offense in terms of skill set, depth, size, all those kind of things?
Yeah, I think we've you hope to be there after 3 years and 4 years now with Kenny, with what they've done and what we've tried to establish with roster management. You hope your depth is in a situation where you feel good about counting on guys that are role players, counting on those guys in the two deep that are actually going to come in and contribute. And I think, you look around right now and you're going to be in the dog days of camp coming up here soon where you got some nicks and bruises. That's going to happen. But I think you've got to push through this pace, and I think we are right now being physical, full pads, playing live situations where we got to find out where if one guy goes down, does the next guy step up? And I think we're testing those guys right now. Again, in a week, we probably won't be able to do that. A week and a half, we won't be able to do that. So now's the time. I think our length and our mentality, our physicalness, the identity we wanted to create is now starting to get down into layers of our roster, which is good. That's what you want and where we're at, and keep building.
With the full pads on, how have you seen the running back battle evolve, and have any guys kind of stood out to you recently?
Now is when you finally get a chance to see running backs live, right? I mean, you get live situations in full pads are really the only time we get a chance to see those guys and what they can do behind the other 21 guys at the offense. And all those guys right now are truly getting tested in protections. They're truly getting tested in situational football. They're getting tested in the offense because you got the run, you got to pass, you got to catch, you got to catch passes, you got to screen. Scat's not here, not going to pass anymore. So I think those guys we're asking a lot of those guys to see the depth that we've got. I don't know if anybody has taken that apex role yet, but I think we're going to be able to count on multiple guys. I think guys' durabilities, even young guys. Carday's a guy whose body looks like it's going to be durable enough. It's our job to put enough on his plate to be able to be successful. David, Marquise coming in. There's good depth in that room, and I think we're going to ask those guys to do a lot of different things. And I think they've done multiple personnels, multiple situations, and multiple offense has been good for us. So I've been excited about that group.
You guys have kind of had two main offensive line groups going. How do you feel about the continuity between those groups and where those guys will fit rotationally, like in the normal game days?
Yeah, I don't know. You're probably not down to a true rotation at this point, like a true 5. We're probably at a 6 or 7. I think we're still on day 7 of any camp. If you're not a true deep veteran group who's been together a long time, you're still in the chemistry lab part of an offensive line, right? Where you're trying to get those 5 pieces and find that perfect combination that gets it flavored right? And so you're switching a couple guys. Maybe it's a 4-man and a plus of 2 guys that are rolling, or it's 5 and a 1 guy. But to be able to go to the 2 depth and still have to work that around says a lot about our depth and what we've recruited and how roster management's been. Because now we've got 6, 7, 8 guys that are starting to work into that chemistry, and you start to weed it out slowly and find out where that perfect combination for that group is.
And how much do you look at that when you add in sort of the mix of personnel or running out with 2 tight ends to that?
Every day. Right now, every day. Every day is looking at the film and assessing where the personnel's at, where are we at, what combination was this, what combination's that, what haven't we tested, what have we tested enough and we're done with, right? There comes a point where you got to it starts slowing down too, where okay, that combination's we're moving on and now we're to here. And I think with the multiple personnels, those opportunities between, the only really change in the multiple personnel is going to be the tackles and tight ends, the combinations they work with, the backs in the backfield. That's all scheme. But those 5, 6, 7, 8 guys in the trenches right now are really going to get tested the next few days.
How's Amari Miller grown since coming to Tempe?
O's a special dude. Obviously, we all know about the skill set, right? I think his best attribute's probably the person. And that's the piece you don't know about when you go out and you're in the transfer portal, or you're trying to get out on rosters or free agency. You're trying to do the best background you can, but until you fuse him into your culture, you really don't know what's going to take shape. And that he is a beautiful human, awesome young man, loves to work, on and off the field, carries the standards, carries our identity as an offense and a culture to the utmost. He does all the skill set stuff we know about. That piece has been the piece that's been like, the dude is a team guy. He hasn't been very long, and he's totally committed to being part of our culture and our team that fast. And that's exactly what you hope to get.
Being up here at camps here, are there any offensive guys that you've seen kind of step up from like a vocal standpoint or leadership standpoint when everyone's going through these activities?
I think this is a special place. This is a really special combination of culture and ball when you put guys in this thing. We spend a lot of time with the guys in campfires and one-on-ones, not kidding ourselves in regards to what we really know is important up here. And that's the culture, and that's the people getting to know each other. We mix up groups a lot. And I got to that because I am answering your question this way because I don't know if we've had an opportunity to see one guy stick out, because what we have got an opportunity to do is see a whole bunch of people we may not have known that well. Us coaches included. We mix up the groups. I'm not with the DBs. I'm not with the linebackers a ton all the time during training camp. And I may have now an hour at a campfire to go through their story or their why. And I think that's when we come back down as coaches and, we debrief ourselves and go, hey, what'd you learn? And it's pretty cool to hear some of the stuff that you learn. And you learn something every day if you take the opportunity to do it. And I think that's why this place is a special combination of culture and ball that, that I think everyone wishes they had. I've been doing this a long time, from head coach, assistant coach in NFL. Every place wishes they could take a special combination, ball it up, and let your team infuse themselves around that. So,
Thanks, Marcus.
you got it.
Thank you for your time. Thank you.